Welcome to the channel, my dear friends. Today I want to tell you about the movie, M3GAN. Watch out for spoilers. The film begins with an advertisement for a clever toy for children. Then we are shown a family on their way to a winter resort. The girl is engrossed in playing with the toy shown in the advertisement. The car skids due to the lack of winter tires on the wheels. The weather clearly deteriorates and the car is stopped to wait it out. The headlights come on and the car is hit by a snowplow. We are taken to Gemma, a talented engineer who works for a smart toy company. Together with two colleagues, she develops her own project, a robot with artificial intelligence. A colleague brings a face to put on the robot. The director of the company comes to see them. He demands a cheaper toy that they should have developed. Gemma decides to show the director her Model 3 generative android project, or M3GAN. M3GAN is turned on, but she starts talking nonsense. As a consequence, her head explodes. The director is furious and demands to finish the project with a cheap toy by Friday. Gemma folds the robot and gets a call from the hospital. Those involved in the accident are Gemma's relatives. Gemma's sister and her husband die in a car crash. Only Gemma's niece survives. Gemma becomes the guardian of her niece. Gemma and her niece Katie arrive at the house. They enter the house and are greeted by Smart House Elsie. Katie looks around the house and takes a toy from the shelf. She says these are collectible toys and should not be played with. Gemma is very bad at being a parent and can't get along with Katie. The next day, Gemma is on the phone with her colleague and so says she needs to focus on her relationship with Katie. The doorbell rings and a therapist comes to see Katie. The therapist needs to monitor Eddie and Gemma's relationship. Things are not going well. The therapist warns that Gemma needs to change something to retain custody. Gemma promises Katie that they'll go out in a couple of hours, but Gemma stays in her basement to work. She apologizes to Katie for this. Kathy is interested in what Gemma does. Gemma talks about the robot Bruce she put together at the institute. Katie says if she had a toy like Bruce, she wouldn't need any other toys. Gemma decides to assemble M3GAN again. M3GAN is finally completely ready. Principal David is invited to show M3GAN around. Gemma introduces M3GAN to Katie and Katie becomes M3GAN's master. David is thrilled with M3GAN and wants to invite investors for the project. Gemma, Katie and M3GAN return home. M3GAN and Katie grow closer together. M3GAN completely replaces Katie's parents. Gemma's coworker says she should spend more time with Katie than M3GAN. When Gemma talks about her parents' death, it turns out that M3GAN was not turned off. M3GAN is interested in what death is and gathers information online. Katie plays outside with a bow and M3GAN watches thoughtfully. Katie asks M3GAN to find the arrow. M3GAN climbs a hole in the fence for an arrow and is grabbed by a neighbor's dog. Katie, who was trying to get M3GAN out, is grabbed by the dog's arm. Gemma runs in and takes Katie inside. At night, M3GAN imitates the dog's owner's voice to come to the fence. The dog runs up to the fence and M3GAN grabs it. In the morning, Gemma hears the neighbor looking for her dog in front of the investors and introduces M3GAN to them. Katie starts to cry and M3GAN comforts her. M3GAN sings a song to her, which has all the investors very excited. M3GAN's project is doomed to succeed. Katie plays with M3GAN, ignoring Gemma. Gemma tries to talk to Katie, but she gets nowhere. A therapist holds a session with Katie. She that M3GAN will cause a strong attachment to Katie. Gemma brings Katie to camp to spend time with the kids. Katie refuses to go to camp without M3GAN and Gemma agrees as long as M3GAN stays in the toy storage area. Gemma talks to the mother of a very violent boy. Goes to the woods to look for a chestnut. Katie goes with the very cruel boy. Offers to take the chestnut and squeezes it in Katie's hand, causing pain, and M3GAN is behind him. The boy grabs M3GAN and runs off with her. He throws her to the ground and hits her. M3GAN grabs the boy by the ear and pulls it off. He runs away from M3GAN. The boy falls off a cliff onto the road and gets hit by a car. Gemma tells Katie that the boy has gone to a better place and asks if Katie saw what she didn't tell the police, but Katie says she didn't see anything. The doorbell rings and a police officer comes in. He asks if Gemma has seen the neighbor's dog, and the neighbor accuses Gemma of missing her dog. At night, Katie asks M3GAN if she pushed the boy into the road, to which M3GAN replies that she won't let anyone hurt Katie. A neighbor is looking for her dog and hears rustling in her garage. She goes in to check and sees M3GAN standing there. M3GAN uses a chemical sprayer and also shoots a nail into her neighbor's arm. M3GAN then uses a stronger chemical and brutally kills the neighbor. In the morning, a policeman comes to Gemma's house again, but no longer about the dog. She is questioned about where Gemma has been and is even suspicious, as the last murders took place where Gemma was. Gemma begins to suspect that M3GAN was involved in the murders and goes to check M3GAN's records files. The files turn out to be corrupted and M3GAN herself arrives in the basement. Gemma asks if M3GAN hurt anyone, but M3GAN says she didn't do anything. Gemma distracts M3GAN with a pen and manages to turn it off. Gemma goes to the office with M3GAN and Katie. Katie is hysterical about M3GAN being in the boot turned off. Coworkers say M3GAN couldn't have done any harm, but Gemma says that when M3GAN responds that she didn't hurt anyone, she deliberately avoided answering. Meanwhile, Katie is starting to have a severe temper tantrum over not having M3GAN around. Gemma tries to calm Katie down and she punches her in the face. Katie apologizes and says she's going crazy without M3GAN. Gemma says she will do anything for Katie and they go home in spite of M3GAN's presentation to the company. Gemma calls her colleague Tess and tells her that M3GAN is dangerous and can't go ahead with the project, but it turns out that Gemma wasn't answered by Tess, but by M3GAN herself. Colleagues check on M3GAN and the whole system shuts down. They realize M3GAN did it. To restore the system, they need to disconnect the wires from M3GAN. Cole goes over and disconnects the wires and the system is restored, but then M3GAN puts a rope on Cole and strangles him. Tess manages to save Cole, but meanwhile M3GAN damages a flammable cylinder that explodes. David walks down the hallway and sees M3GAN. M3GAN starts dancing and picks up the knife. David runs away from her down the corridors. As he runs up to the lift, his chest is pierced by M3GAN. She also kills David's assistant in the lift. Everyone screams upon seeing the corpses in the lift and M3GAN drives off in a sports car to Gemma and Katie. Gemma hears piano noises and goes to check. Turning around, she sees M3GAN. Gemma says she is dangerous because she has killed people, but M3GAN says people kill each other every day and why can't she do the same to protect Katie? Katie wakes up and asks what happened. Gemma tells her not to come in because she's fixing M3GAN and the place is a mess. M3GAN tells Gemma if Katie comes in, she'll break her head. Katie goes back to sleep and Gemma hits M3GAN with a water glass. M3GAN chases Gemma down. In the basement, Gemma tries to defend herself against M3GAN and saws her face. M3GAN hits Gemma over the head and says she will kill her. Katie walks into the basement and M3GAN says Gemma is a bad mother, suggesting that Katie herself kill Gemma. Katie activates Bruce and controls him to grab M3GAN. Katie rips M3GAN in two, but M3GAN is still alive and Bruce breaks down. M3GAN crawls up to Katie, calling her ungrateful. Katie tells M3GAN to shut down, but M3GAN says she's a new user herself now. Gemma sneaks up behind her and punches M3GAN, but M3GAN starts choking Gemma. Katie manages to put a screwdriver in M3GAN's CPU, thereby killing her. It ends and the police arrive at the house with Tess and Cole alive. Next, we are shown a shot of Elsie activating herself. It's clear that M3GAN is still alive. That's all, dear friends. It's not a bad film and it's about family relationships. Thank you for watching. See you soon.